Okay, hello back from the kitchen. That's where we started the day, and that's where we're gonna close up the day. But look how our kitchen setting changed. It's no longer myself and Łukasz. We have our beautiful guests that have just been introduced, but we have Eva, Michalina, and Szymon, who are serving the role of our D&I experts. We're going to be navigating through 3 key challenges. Before I even start the conversation with you, I need to say I need to catch a breath because I've been running a lot in the studio. So if I leave you the space to share your perspective on this specific topic or challenge, actually, 3 challenges that we'll be tackling in this segment, I will take a break and just take a breath. We're starting with your insights on why these challenges are important. What's your take on these? Why we even call these challenges, since they are such a big part of the daily reality. So I'd like to start this conversation with that. But I also need to mention that this segment is a kind of experiment. We can call it a cooking experiment for the conference and for our team. So hopefully we have a lot of managers joining our managers cooking class and benefiting from it, right? So this is something new, also an experiment for us. Whom should I start with? Szymon, you're volunteering. That's yes. A nice thing to do. Thank you.
Thank you. Can you hear me? Yes, I guess, yes, you can hear me. So I've been listening to the conference, and one of the words that were repeated often were, for example, resistance. And I think resistance is the key word, because resistance is something that we don't want, and on the other hand, it's crucial to analyze resistance, what this is about. So challenges, yes, there will always be challenges, but what kind of resistance there is in the organization. If we analyze resistance to change, for example, to having difficult conversations, maybe to take care of well-being or mental health, if we analyze resistance, then we can start the journey.
So being analytical or more analytical would be a good advice from your perspective.
Definitely, to analyze resistance. It sounds a bit mystical, but I think it's worth. Sometimes it's about data, sometimes it's about knowledge, sometimes it's about the corporate culture, why some topics cannot be discussed, for example. So analyzing resistance is something what comes to my mind.
Okay, thank you for sharing. Moving on.
So I will build on what you said, and I would add that what is also important is also focusing on our emotions. I will rely to what Heidi said in the first speech about increasing a necessity of being our true self in the workplace. And the more true self in the workplace of us will be there, the more challenges will be there, the more potential conflicts. So actually these microaggressions, which we will talk about today, will cause some exclusion. So we really need to be very careful and watch not only ourselves, but also our colleagues and our leaders in this process.
And from your experience, Michalina, working with business, would you even call it an issue? Would you call it a challenge, microaggression? I feel it's a relatively new term.
Yeah, I would say that it's present all the time.
We just named it?
To name it?
We just named it, so it was present. It has been present. Have we just found a name for it?
Yeah, I would say, yeah. And not only microaggressions, but also micro-inequities. So it's also about how we treat other people. What is the setting? Who has smacked? Who doesn't? For example, yeah.
So a lot of micro challenges.
Micro challenges, yeah, every day. We need to be really mindful.
Okay. Eva, what are you seeing, and why are we even talking about it? What's your perspective?
Well, I agree with whatever was said, what Szymon and Michalina said, absolutely. And I think it's present. We have it. I wouldn't even say it's something new. Maybe we didn't call it out because it's not something comfortable to talk about. But I think it's very important, and I would add to data and emotions. I would also add, being curious, because it's being really interested in another human being I'm working with, because we have different days, we have different situations, we have different workloads at the organizations, and this has impact on how we behaved. And each of us probably could name or see ourselves and other people behaving in the ways we are not happy about. So this is the topic, very important. I think it's happening consciously and unconsciously. So the more we learn, the more data we have and information, and the more observant we are, the easier it will be for us to manage it on an everyday basis.
You are such a natural expert. You're naturally transitioning into recommendations and giving piece of advice, which I love, and hopefully our audience also love it. By the way, I think all of you, encourage all the managers participating in this segment to throw some comments on the chat, and we really, I think, want to get some of your perspective and how you feel about the subjects, right? So it's not only a conversation between us and Łukasz, who's just on the right, and our next guest, but it's our conversation. So whatever you have on your mind, just throw it. These three challenges that we're going to tackle in that segment. So again, responding to microaggressions, supporting team members in crisis, engaging excluded team members. What's the key benefit for managers if they learn or they get better at managing this successfully? What's the key benefit? Szymon.
Can I start?
I think you're volunteering.
We didn't set it up.
1, 2, 3.
Exactly. So I think it's a great mix when you can mix mental health knowledge and well-being knowledge with diversity, equity, inclusion, because aggression, it's a very complex, complicated topic. But I think when people are, during our webinars or workshops, for example, learning that aggression and anger is something different. I think maybe it's a common
aggression
knowledge.
And anger.
Yes. So anger is an emotion, and it's quite normal. People experience. People get angry, but aggression is something different. We can control aggression, but we should name it. And once we name something, we can manage it. Hopefully. So I think that this great mix of psychological knowledge and also diversity, equity, inclusion knowledge is a great mix that can help really people to manage teams, to manage organizations, to be better human beings in the end.
Absolutely. So just learning the differences, learning and gaining a better understanding is already a benefit for for managers and to be even more successful in managing your team. Michalina, what would you add from your perspective?
Like to name it very simply, I would say like the biggest benefit and the obvious one is engagement. Yeah, the most respectful we feel in the workplace, we will be engaged. We would like to put our best self into the work. But how does it happen? Through working with microaggressions. I mean, through dealing with microaggressions. It's about learning how power dynamic works. That, of course, we will empower those who don't have power to show them, to show those who have power how not to abuse the power. So this is the one thing. And the second thing is that those who have power need to be aware of their privilege. So it means that they can use their power in a good sense. Power not meaning like a hierarchical power, but power meaning influence, impact, being able to do more, being entitled to do more, being able to be more authentic than others.
So the benefit also would be pretty much to look at it as a learnable thing, right? It's if you're challenged by microaggressive behaviors, if you want to be better at managing excluded team member, you can learn it. I think is a fair thing to say.
Yeah, it is learnable.
Okay, good. That means that our presence here is valid. Eva?
I would just add that, this can be very beneficial for managers themselves. They are working with people on everyday basis. They have certain tasks to deliver. There are lots of expectations, and they work with people. And sometimes, when you learn something, it's easier. Like Michalina said, you understand, you learn, you observe some situations. If you have this knowledge, even if you don't know exactly what to do, but you know that's something going on, you can step back, you can, ask someone, and maybe, it's easier for you. So I think, I wouldn't omit the benefit for the managers. The more they know, the easier it is for them to do the job, which I think, people managers who also have a lot of other tasks, this is a very, very important and very difficult role to have in the organization.
All right. I'm really excited about this mixture of experience and your profile. Like we have psychologists here, Eva. Actually,
I'm not a psychologist.
You're not, but that's good. That's good. That's good. It's good to have this mixture, and I'm hoping to have an interesting conversation one. But my objective is for us to dig deep and rely on our experiences to provide some good pieces of advice to our audience right now on these 3 specific challenges. So would you call it a good warm-up?
Yes.
Definitely.
Okay, good.